Welcome to the special edition of Hannity, Islamists Among Us. Now, tonight, with radical Islam spreading around the world, we'll examine in detail the threat that jihadists could pose to our homeland. Now, just today, ISIS claimed responsibility for the devastating terror attacks that rocked Jakarta, that's the capital of Indonesia, and yesterday, Iran released a humiliating video showing its Navy capturing 10 U.S. sailors in the Persian Gulf. Now, the sailors were released less than a day then after they were captured, but not before Iran took a video of a U.S. Navy lieutenant apologizing to the rogue regime. Right now, the same Islamic extremists who are wreaking havoc across the world are now living among you, the American people. First, let's take a look back at how radical Islamists have recently impacted us right here in the U.S. Take a look.
We have someone attacking someone in the building.
Terror in the heartland. The FBI is investigating a brutal beheading in Moore, Oklahoma, after the suspect's co-workers revealed that he had been trying to convert them to Islam. The NYPD at this very hour is investigating a possible terror connection to an axe attack that targeted police officers in New York City earlier today. Two radical Islamists who opened fire at an event in Texas.
One Garland police officer and one Garland ISD security officer were confronted by two suspects armed with assault rifles.
The man opened fire at two military facilities in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
At this time, we're treating him as a homegrown violent extremist.
The FBI will not rule out terrorism as a possible motive in today's deadly shooting rampage in San Bernardino, California. The attempted execution of a Philadelphia police officer allegedly done in the name of Islam. All right, couldn't be more clear. Radical Islamists are now living among us. Take a look at this map. Now, since 2014, America has suffered numerous terrorist attacks right here in the homeland, and that's not all. In 2015 alone, 60 people living in America have now been arrested and charged with crimes linked to ISIS. Joining us now with reaction, the distinguished chair of military theory at Marine Corps University, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, and former CIA operations officer Joshua Katz. Mr. Gorka, let's start with you. It is more severe than obviously Obama wants to recognize, but it's now infiltrating the United States, Western Europe, and pretty much the entire world. We see their sphere of influence. Your reaction?
Absolutely. There's one reality, Sean, the reality of people being massacred at Christmas parties in California, being blown up on the streets of Turkey or Jakarta, and then there's this bubble, this fantasy land that the administration lives in which ISIS is contained, they're losing, we're winning, and these things really don't matter, and let's have some more gun control in America.
Yeah. Let me play for both of you. Former CIA Director Mike Morrell saying that ISIS has gained ground faster than al-Qaeda in a huge way, and James Comey, the FBI Director, pointing out there are ISIS investigations now in all 50 states. Watch this.
ISIS has gained affiliates faster than al-Qaeda ever did. From nothing a year ago, there are now militant groups in nearly 20 countries that have sworn allegiance to ISIS. They have conducted attacks that have already killed Americans, and they carry the potential to themselves grab large amounts of territory. Libya is a place where this could happen in the near term. ISIS controls territory in Libya. They are currently expanding that territory. I would not be surprised if we woke up one morning and ISIS in Libya had grabbed a large part of Libyan territory.
That group is using social media to try and motivate people to either come to their so-called caliphate, or if you can't come, kill where you are. So we have investigations in all 50 states to try to identify among hundreds of people who are consuming this poison, where are they in stages from consuming to acting, and how do we stop them from acting? That is a preoccupation of the Bureau and our partners in state and local law enforcement all day long in all 56 FBI field offices.
So, Joshua, we talk about ISIS, Iraq, and Syria, but now they're talking about Libya and in all 50 states. And then we can go to Western Europe on top of that.
Absolutely.
So how pervasive is the threat?
Sean, the threat is so pervasive, and the administration is just ignoring it, or maybe they're lying to us, right? But we're seeing it grow in Pakistan, throughout northern Africa. We're also seeing it grow in the Caribbean, right next to us. We're seeing it grow in Central and South America. We're seeing it grow in Southeast Asia. And more importantly, we're seeing it grow right here at home in all 50 states and some of our territories. So this problem is growing out of control, Sean.
Yeah, and Mr. Gorka, let's go back to this whole Iranian situation with our sailors. We had on John Kirby. He is the State Department spokesman last night. He recognized Iran. Again, we're dealing with radical Islamists, that they're state sponsors of terror, that they have fought proxy wars against the U.S., Israel, and others. He admitted all of this, but yet we'll give them $150 billion, the right to spin centrifuges, the right to build missile defense with Vladimir Putin, 24 days notice before inspections. I mean, it's insanity to me. And then we've got an American soldier on tape apologizing to the Iranians, and then John Kerry thanking them for their release. Let me play them both back to back and get your reaction to this.
It was a mistake. That was our fault, and we apologize for our mistake. The Iranian behavior was fantastic while we were here. We thank you very much for your hospitality and your assistance.
I also want to thank the Iranian authorities for their cooperation and quick response. I'm appreciative for the quick and appropriate response of the Iranian authorities. All indications suggest or tell us that our sailors were well taken care of, provided with blankets and food, and assisted with their return to the fleet earlier today. And I think we can all imagine how a similar situation might have played out 3 or 4 years ago.
You know, I look at that, Mr. Gorka, and I say to myself, seriously? I mean, with their hands behind their back, oh, we should thank them for giving our sailors blankets and food? And they put, apparently, they covered the hair of one of the women that were sailors there. What is your reaction to the handling of this and the thanking of the Iranians?
Well, I'm horrified. As an American, I'm horrified. The propaganda value for this just underlies and supports this leading from behind absurdity. America is a hollowed out version of itself, and now we look as if Iran is more powerful than we are. Let's leave that aside for a second, Sean. The fact is, this is a nation that in an Arab newspaper, the president gave an interview to in March of 15. He actually said this nation, Iran, is a state sponsor of terrorism. The president has admitted that some of the $150 billion we are releasing back to Tehran will fund terrorism. So we are aiding and abetting at the highest level of U.S. government.
Well, why then during the Iranian negotiations, when they were saying that the destruction of Israel is non-negotiable, meaning the Iranian mullahs, and they were chanting death to America, and they were burning the U.S. flag and the Israeli flag, why did Obama stay at the table? Why did John Kerry stay there? What message, how is that interpreted, Dr. Gorka, in the Islamic world? I would assume it's interpreted as weakness.
It's worse. It's much worse than that, Sean. Let me tell you, I've worked closely with our Sunni allies, especially the Jordanians and the Egyptians. I've trained many of their military as a Defense Department official. They don't trust America anymore. I've had senior general officers in the U.S. military tell me when they go to the region, because of the actions of this White House with regards to the mullahs in Iran, we are not trusted. The good guys who could defeat ISIS for us, the moderate Sunnis, think that America is on the side of the crazy Shia. So what should our response have been?
What should we have done when they took these sailors hostage?
Well, I think there's lots of things that could be discussed at the tactical level. These boats are rapid boats. There's no reason that they had to surrender them to the Iranians. They should have got out of there at a rapid rate of knots, and they didn't do so. If they had been captured, we shouldn't have played nice with them. We should have demanded them back with all of the equipment, not allowing them to keep our classified GPS systems or anything. That's how you deal from a position of strength, and you say, if you don't do this, Iran will pay a price. More sanctions, not more money.
Yeah. Dr. Katz, what do you think the response should have been?
Yeah, Sean, I absolutely think that we have weakened our position in the Middle East to the point where we cannot operate at all. And so our position here needs to be of overwhelming strength and resolve and saying you cannot do this whatsoever. You can't keep this. You can't keep that. You have to abide by our treaties. And they haven't done that. They fired missiles at our ship, Sean. So this is absolutely just we're heading down the path where America here is going to be less safe and where our soldiers and our sailors here are going to be targets. They are targets. And this is going to affect America in ways that we cannot possibly even fathom yet.
All right. I want to thank you both for being with us. Appreciate your time.